The first message arrived at 2:17 a.m. Daniel Carter woke to the faint vibration of a phone on his nightstand. The room was dark except for the dull glow of the city outside his apartment window. He reached for his phone, squinting at the screen. Unknown number. He almost ignored it, but something about the hour made him uneasy. The message read, "You forgot to lock the balcony door tonight." Daniel sat up slowly. He looked toward the living room. The balcony door was across the apartment, barely visible from the bedroom. He told himself it was a coincidence. Still, he got out of bed. When he reached the living room, his stomach tightened. The balcony door was slightly open. Cold air slipped through the gap, moving the curtain like a slow breath. Daniel closed it immediately and locked it. His heart was beating faster now. He checked the message again. No other texts, no name attached to the number. He typed a reply. "Who is this?" The three dots appeared instantly. Then another message. "You should really be more careful, Daniel." He froze. He hadn't told anyone about the apartment yet. He had only moved in 3 days ago. Another message arrived. Especially after what happened last year, the air in the room suddenly felt heavy. Daniel stared at the screen. Last year, no one was supposed to know about that. He typed again. "What do you want?" The reply came slowly this time. "Just watching." Daniel checked the balcony, then the hallway, then every room in the apartment. Nothing. No one. He tried calling the number. It rang once, then disconnected. The next morning, he convinced himself it was a prank. Someone from work. Maybe. Daniel worked as a data analyst for a marketing company. He had coworkers who liked to joke around. Still, the message bothered him. He didn't mention it to anyone. By evening, he had almost forgotten about it, until another text arrived. 6:41 p.m. "You shouldn't trust Emily." Daniel felt his chest tighten. Emily Dawson was his co-worker. They had started seeing each other a few weeks earlier. "Why?" he typed. The reply came instantly. "Because she's lying to you." Daniel stared at the phone for a long time. Emily had just left his apartment an hour earlier. They had eaten dinner together, watched a movie. Everything had felt normal. But now doubt crept quietly into his mind. "Who are you?" he wrote again. No response. The messages continued for days. Always from the same unknown number, always late at night. And every message knew something personal, things no stranger should know. "You skipped lunch today." "Your boss is planning layoffs next month." "Emily didn't tell you where she was Tuesday night." At first, Daniel tried to ignore them. But the texts began to change him. He started noticing things. Emily sometimes hesitated before answering questions. His boss had indeed been holding secret meetings. Every message planted another seed of suspicion. And slowly, Daniel's life began to unravel. 2 weeks later, Emily confronted him. "You've been acting strange," she said in his kitchen. Daniel avoided her eyes. "I'm just stressed." "Daniel," she said quietly, "did I do something wrong?" He hesitated. Then he asked the question. "Where were you Tuesday night?" Emily blinked. "What?" 2 weeks ago." She frowned. "I told you." "Dinner with my sister." Daniel said nothing. The phone in his pocket vibrated. He pulled it out. Another message. "She's lying." Emily watched his face change. "Daniel, what's going on?" He shook his head. Nothing, but it wasn't nothing. The messages were controlling him now. He checked his phone constantly, waiting, watching, wondering what the next message would reveal. One night the messages changed again. This one arrived at 3:02 a.m. "You still haven't figured it out." Daniel sat up in bed. Figured what out? The response came slower this time. "Who I am." Daniel's fingers hovered over the keyboard. "Tell me." Several seconds passed. Then the next message appeared. "Look in the closet." Daniel stared at the door across the room. His heart pounded as he walked toward it. He opened the closet slowly, nothing unusual. Just clothes, shoes, boxes. Then his phone vibrated again, the top shelf. Daniel reached up and pulled down a small cardboard box he hadn't unpacked yet. Inside was an old phone, a cheap black smartphone. His breath caught in his throat. He recognized it immediately. It was his old phone, the one he had replaced after the incident. His hands trembled as he turned it on. The screen lit up. Dozens of messages appeared. Messages sent from that phone. To his current phone, Daniel stepped backward. No, he whispered. It couldn't be. But the timestamps told the truth. The unknown number. Was this phone his phone? The one he thought he had thrown away? Another message arrived. Now you remember. The room felt like it was closing in. And suddenly the memories returned. Last year, a rainy night. An argument, Emily, another Emily, not the one he was dating now. Emily Hart, his girlfriend at the time, they had fought in the car. Driving along a dark mountain road, she accused him of lying, of hiding things. He had been drinking. He told himself he wasn't drunk, but he was angry. And when she tried to grab the steering wheel, the car swerved. The guardrail broke. The car went over the edge. Daniel survived. Emily didn't. The police ruled it an accident. Daniel told everyone he couldn't remember what happened, but he remembered. He always remembered. He just buried it, deep. So deep he almost believed his own lie until the messages started. His phone vibrated again. You tried to forget. Another message, but I didn't. Daniel stared at the old phone in horror. This was impossible. Phones didn't send messages by themselves. Unless he had done it. Unless some part of him had. Before throwing the phone away. Another message appeared. Guilt doesn't disappear. Daniel dropped into the chair. His breathing was shallow. Stop, he whispered. The phone vibrated again. You know the truth now? Daniel looked toward the balcony. The same balcony door from the first night. His mind felt fractured, like two voices fighting inside him. One voice saying it was over, the other whispering that it wasn't. Another message arrived. Confess. His hand shook. Confess. The word echoed in his mind. He thought about Emily, the new Emily, about the lies he had told, about the accident, or maybe not an accident. His phone vibrated again. The final message, or I will. Daniel stared at the screen, and for the first time in a year, he finally made a decision. The next morning, Daniel walked into a police station. No one forced him. No one threatened him. He simply sat down and told the truth. Everything. The drinking, the argument, the moment he lost control. The moment Emily died, the detectives listened quietly. One of them asked a simple question. What made you come forward? Daniel thought about the messages, about the phone, about the voice that refused to let him forget. But he simply said, I remembered something important. What? Daniel looked down at his hands. The truth. Weeks later, investigators searched his apartment. They found the second phone, but there was something strange. There were no messages, no sent texts, no outgoing calls. The phone was empty, completely wiped, like it had never been used. When they asked Daniel about it, he frowned. That's impossible, he said. Why? Because it was texting me. The detective looked confused. There are no records of that. Daniel said nothing. That night, alone in his jail cell, he stared at the ceiling, trying to understand, trying to make sense of it. Then suddenly, a vibration. Daniel looked down slowly. His current phone sat on the metal table beside the bed. The screen lit up. Unknown number. One final message appeared. You did the right thing. Daniel's blood ran cold. Because the message was sent from the same number, the number that didn't exist.